What are some dark psychology tricks that actually work? If someone is bothering you at your desk too often, continue the conversation but get up and walk them back to their desk. Had a boss who was a guru at this. You'd be back at your desk wondering how the fuck you got there. Silence. If you want to know something, ask the question then wait. People want to fill the silence and will talk and talk. If someone doesn't want to give you specific information, like tuition costs or hours expected, give them an example that's completely unreasonable. They will usually immediately give you an exact number and feel embarrassed for pretending not to. No. Example, me. How much does your C++ course cost? Them. It really depends on what your goals are. Me. Don't you have a beginner's course? Can you give me a price range? Them. We can work with you to fit your individual needs. Me. Okay. Fine. So is it, like, $10 for access to all your courses? Or them. Oh, no. We have a subscription for $99 a month. If you can buy the beginner's course for $120. Not useful very often, but it works every time. Not really a dark trick but one that I've found effective. When someone's being rude to you, stay completely silent and stare at them. It'll make them feel incredibly uncomfortable and they'll usually act civilly after a few moments. Edit. Disclaimer do not do this to people who are exhibiting aggressive behavior or whilst in an unsafe non-public environment. This will not work on the local thug in the street and will likely cause you harm. This is a tactic meant to be used on otherwise mature adults in safe environments. If you make a favor seem bigger than it is before asking it, the person on the receiving end is much more likely to help. Change the perspective from I do we and people will automatically align themselves with you. If you want to be an effective liar, build a reputation of being honest. The more you are known as being reliable, the easier it is to deceive and manipulate. Not terribly complex, I know. Talk good behind people back. It'll get to them, trust me. It'll get to everybody. People start to believe something if they're told it over and over and over, even if it goes against everything they know. That's why the news is so important to pretty much every government on Earth. They get to decide what we hear over and over. Don't react when somebody is getting unnecessarily angry. Drives them crazy. Not so dark. But humans have predictable patterns when choosing stuff at random. If you ask 100 people to pick a random number between 1 and 10, a great deal of people choose 3 or 7, even numbers. Highest, lowest 1 and 10 and the middle number 5 doesn't feel random enough. So when I play board games like Catan or card games where the others have to pick a random card out of my hand, I always put my most valuable card on either side. Not in the middle since the middle feels more random. Mirroring is incredible. If you can pull it off from a simple swinging of a chair or a gentle smile, you can actually control their presence. Sunk cost. Basically any time or effort or money that has already been expended or spent tends to be factored into decision-making even though it shouldn't. When I met my wife, she would always finish her drinks even if she didn't like them because she paid for them. I asked her, if you already paid for them then the money is already gone. Why suffer through a drink you don't like if there is literally no change in outcome as opposed to not drinking it, except not enjoying it? That is why buying a car takes so long. You have spent so much time already that you almost feel like you have to buy it. You have invested time and need to get something for that investment. And oh my gosh, I do not want to go through this again. Giving the wrong answer online to get the correct one. Also the Kubrick stare, with the head forward just a little, really makes people leave you the hell alone. Waiting several seconds or up to a minute to say something after someone has given you an offer or asked you for something will make what you say next high likely to be agreed with. Most people hate uncomfortable silence, especially salespeople. People want to be acknowledged, accepted, and appreciated. It takes almost nothing to give them that. But empires have risen and fell because of it. People will be so happy that you've given it, even if they know they're being manipulated. They'll ignore the manipulation for the sake of what you're giving them. When walking in a crowded area, look where you're going and not at the other people. They will naturally move out of your line of sight, making it quicker to move around. If you want someone to like you, ask them to do small favors for you and be very appreciative when they comply. Positive reinforcements for tasks, just like training a dog. Certified hypnotist here. You want it dark, here you go. Leading a topic by stating something you know the subject will agree with. Transition into a ray statement of whatever it is they agreed with and alter it slightly. End with a rhetorical question leaning towards agreement. Isn't that right? If you're slow and careful about this, You can get people to concede or agree to nearly anything without even noticing. Number 2. This one is incredibly fucking simple. Consistently thanking somebody for very, very basic things. Things you might not even thank someone for. Think moving out of the way for you, or handing you your water bottle from a few feet away. Once you make the interaction consistent enough, they will be used enough to the praise that it will be missed. Then, don't thank them for one or two things, and they will very frequently go out of their way in order to earn your thanks. If you want to extract agreement from someone you know reasonably well, begin the conversation by talking about occasions in the past when you have cooperated to achieve a common goal. 1 or 2 examples is enough. This primes them to go along with your current proposal. The power of suggestion is incredibly potent. Most people underestimate how this tool can affect others. For example, I had a sociology class in high school. It was that or health, and we had to build conduct and psychology, sociology experiment and write a report on our findings. We were in groups of 4. We had free rein to do what we wanted, but it could not be immoral or unethical. But being the group of antisocial rebellious teens, we decided to do an experiment on suggestion. It was relatively simple. We picked 3 subjects and chose a positive and negative suggestion, and the third was our control. Now we picked 3 people, 1 popular, 1 not so popular, and someone in the middle control. These subjects were picked so each one of the group members would have an interaction every class period for 1 whole day. For the popular girl subject, we decided to simply ask her if she was feeling alright because she looked pale. Unpopular male subject B was asked why they didn't speak up more in class and they should do it. We chose suggestions that would be counter to their personalities. Control subject C was simply asked how their day was going. By the end of the day experiment, subject A had gone home sick. After 3 class periods, subject B had an overall increase in participation that lasted several days after the conclusion of the experiment, and subject C showed baseline behavior. Now we did get into trouble because what we did was unethical, but the teacher was so impressed with our report that he let us slide and made us apologize to the participants. Asking someone to do you a favor makes them like you more. Seems wrong on the surface, but shown to be true. So, ask your boss for small personal favors every now and again. Also, if you want someone who has no opinion of you to think well of you, you can try this psychotic move. Act rude towards them, not overly. Just some small transgression. Then seek them out the next day and apologize for your behavior, stating you had a bad day and later regretted whatever you did . Now that they know you, wave high when you see them. They will end up with a positive opinion of you. In a competitive environment, if you notice that your opponent is a beginner or showing signs of anxiety, ask them, are you nervous? While trying to act as nonchalant as possible. I'll even yawn if I can. This always gets in people's heads at Street Fighter if they aren't mentally strong to begin with.